All right, so this video is if you're confused about the course structure. I got one of these questions in the community. I'll read this really quick. I think this is a great one. It says, I watched your video about the multi-tier communities in GHL, and I pretty much understand what you were explaining. I think the setup you explained would work for me. However, I'm a little confused with GHL structure. Here's an example. I would like to have a free community, but I would like to offer different digital products and courses and house them in the free community. But I'm not clear how to set it up that they get access to the free community, but the customers see only what they have access to, their products and courses. I did see you created channels. I'm a total newbie to GHL and it's so overwhelming. Any help would be greatly appreciated. This is a great question about your community and how it all works. So I'm going to share with you how this works. In GoHighLevel, you can go into sites and you can add to any website. Let me just pick a random demo website here. This is a blog page. But let's say I wanted to add a store right here. You could add a store. If you set up a store, it creates 5 pages, and this is where you add products. So you would customize your online store, you'd add your domain, and set up your shipping. For digital goods, you don't need that, but you would have to create when you go into payments and products. You need to create your products here. Let's add a new product and include this in your online store. Now, in the question, you mentioned something about digital products, in which case you may want to have an online store if you want them to click and just download something. There's no reason to create an entire course for, let's just say you're downloading a Canva template. So if it's like a single Canva template, in which case you would want to go to payments, you would want to create a product, or you can have it in your online store. So you can set up a store where you can put in like, Canva, let's just say Canva download, digital product, and let's just say they're going to get like 100 templates. This will just be an example. You can set collections. So if you have different, what do you call it? Like real estate, dog sitting. If you had different categories, you could organize your store. And for that, I would definitely watch the e-commerce training to learn more about the store. But once you do, this is where you would put in all your information, global settings, add a picture, and then let's just say we're going to do one-time price of $27 and that's it. We're going to go ahead and select save. So now we have a price in the product store. So when you click on the price section, this is where you would give it an image. In this particular case, it's a digital product. So here is where you would upload your document. You can upload up to 10 files. A lot of people will do like a one sheet on Canva and upload that on that one sheet. They click to get access to all their digital products. So this is considered a digital product. Now, if you want to sell this digital product, but not in your store, you would go into sites. You could create a new funnel. That's just a blank funnel. That's a digital download. This could be your sales page. So you would create a site or a single page for where they would go in to purchase. So let's just say digital download, and the path is digital. Let's just say it was called Canva template. Let's go ahead and create the funnel. Now we have a URL, so you would need to connect a subdomain in order to make this set up. I'm just going to create from blank, and this is where you would create your page. Let me just add a section. Let's just add one column. Actually, technically it should be 2 columns. So let's just add an element. We would add the order. Let's just do a 1-step order form. So here you would put all your information about the product. Here's your order form. And then let's just go ahead and save it. Then you would have to connect your domain. So you would have a subdomain for every product. Like this would be Canva template 1 dot your domain when you connect your domain. And your order form is ready. Here's what happens. You go back to the site and attach the product to the page. We've got this digital download page. Go to product. We would add that product, and that product would be that Canva download. We would put in the price, display, this would say 27 one time, hit save. Now we've added that product in payments and products. If we preview the page, it would say Canva document. You would see right here, Canva download. They would make the payment once you set up your payment, and this is where they would click it. Then they would automatically be taken to that page where they can download it, or you would create a automation workflow. A workflow might be they purchase this product. Now you're going to send them the email with the Canva template link. There's so many things that you can do. And that's why a lot of people will use sites and funnels, because it allows you to create your own order page. And then it also allows you to share the domain. So once you get your domain set up, that step would have a domain right here, yourdomain.com. This link right here, you could copy and share it in your community. Now, if you're just giving away templates, we'll get to that when we get into community. But this is the difference between e-commerce stores and actually setting up a product for a digital download. If you're doing a digital download, I just showed you how you can do it with e-commerce. go into products, set up a product for specific products, attach that product to a site, or attach that product to a store. And of course, you can go in and edit all your products. But if you build an online store, that's also a great way to do it if you're going to have multiple downloads and products. But again, that's like a Canva link, or maybe you're sending them a file or an ebook. Maybe you're selling your ebook online. This is a great way to do it either in the store or as a funnel. That's two great ways to add products. And then what happens is, let's come over here to automations and from scratch. So when you go in here and add your trigger, just type in payment, you would select payment received. And then this is where you would add your filter. We would say the global product is our Canva download. And then I would also add a fixture that a status that says, make sure the payment status is success. So we don't want to, if they failed, we don't want to be sending them that email that you're sharing that Canva template with. So make sure you put success. And that's how you create a workflow. So your trigger is the payment was received, and then you save that trigger and then send an email. And this would send an email from you to them, have your Canva template link right in here, or create a pretty email template in the email templates in the campaign builder. So pretty cool stuff as far as the payment received. And again, that's for the digital product. You could do it either with an e-commerce store or as a funnel page, and then set your trigger, or as a product purchased and attach the download. Hopefully that explains the digital download part of it. Real simple payment. You can add your product here. When you go to product and you add it, this is where you can set it to be a digital download and give it all the instructions by selecting the product and saying it's a digital product, attaching the attachments and send it. Or you can do it as a site, which is a funnel, and set up your digital download with an easy to use form, attach your product, and then make an automation to send them what happens after they do the product. So that's the digital marketing aspect. So now that you understand, we've got a digital product here with a page URL that we can use. That subdomain would allow you to share that link inside your community. All right, so let's go into courses, and I'll show you right here. We'll go into memberships and then course products. In courses, you have products and offers. So let's take a look at this graph here. With courses, you can do membership offers, put it in your community portal as a course, or create a course and sell it on your funnel. I just showed you how to set up a two-step form with a funnel. If you created a course, then your workflow would be course purchased or product purchased. They went on this funnel, they purchased the course, and then you would set up a workflow. Here's their offer page. They fill out the two-step form, and then we add the product, and they're in a workflow to grant them access to that course. Your trigger then would be product purchase, the specific course, and they go down that workflow. That just shows you the funnel area of what I did. The same way for the digital product download, you can do as a funnel site. Now let's go into membership offers and the community portal. Inside your membership, when you go to membership, you have all your products. These are full-on courses. When you create a product, you pick your course. This creates what's called a course, and this course shows up inside of your course library. Once you have a course product set up, you then create an offer. Membership courses equal membership offers. You need to set up an offer because an offer will grant a contact access to it. Let's go into Hair Tips 1 as a demo and click on offer. And we're going to offer this free hair tips for free. Let's just say this one would be for free. So an offer's been set. Let's go to the other one that doesn't have an offer. So you would create your course and it would look like this. You don't have any offers. And an offer is actually connected to the course. I know it's really confusing and I'm really hoping they fix this soon, but this is the way it is. And this is the best way to break it down for you. So when you go into let's go into the advanced one, we're going to go into offers. You're going to see we don't have an offer. So we need to create an offer. We would call this Hair Tips 2, just for example. See how it already attached the product? Let's just say it's free. I don't have a credit card set up to this one. And we'll just say free. And now we've created this new offer. A lot of people will use them, but we want to customize our domains. If you go into offers, you'll see all of your offers listed. And when you look at the offer, you're going to see how you can edit it and make it really pretty. All right, so now we've got our Hair Tip 2 offer. If we were to edit the offer, this is where you can make the page look a little bit pretty, right? We can publish the offer, give it a description, put a cover here, and now the offer's set. You need to set up an offer because the only way to grant somebody access to that course is by having an offer. So whether it's a free or paid course, you've got to set up an offer. Now, you can edit your checkout page. So let's just go to edit checkout. And I'll show you what we're looking at right here. This is what we're all asking for. New updates, prettier display. So here is where you can create an offer page, kind of like a site or a funnel, but this is a page related to your offer. It's going to have this form automatically in there. You can add a banner image and do all this other stuff. I'm not going to show you how to do all this, but it's pretty simple. You can go in and create your offer just like you would. And then right here where it says get link, this is where you could copy that link and share that link where they could go sign up for the offer. So you can see right here, salonportal.app is going to take them to my hair tip 2 where they can sign up. And the reason why we don't like it is because we can't customize the domain. We just get a bunch of numbers, but you've got to create an offer. So you may not want to use this. A lot of people will use funnels. We've got the membership course and the offer. The reason why I talk about all offers and you have to set up an offer is because that's how you're granting them access to that specific course. Let's go to a contact. This can all be done in workflows as well, but let's click on this contact. When you scroll down, it says course offers. This is how they get access to the course offers. You want to grant them access here and then grant them access to the next offer. All your courses would be here, and you would see that the contact has access to that course offer. Offers connect to contacts or students. And then depending on your automation, it'll send them an email that says you've been granted access. A lot of people turn that off. It's just a system email. It says you've been granted access, but you can customize all that. You can definitely watch those courses. But this is where the offer is attached to the student. So when somebody comes in and says, I don't have access to my course, now you know it has to have an offer and it has to be there. This part of the pie has to be done, but you don't have to use the offer page or the sales page unless you just want to use those links or URLs that you just want to do this and be done with it. A lot of people don't use it. A lot of people do for just like free courses. I think we connected one of these links on one of our free courses because there was nothing really to say. So we just connected this to the button on the website and it was done. They just fill it out and come in. And the final part is that community. And this goes back to the question of how do I give them access to my digital product? How do I give them access to my course? Well, this is where the community comes in. When you go into sites and you go into groups, you'll want to set this up in Client Portal. This is how you set up your community. Let's go ahead and log into the community so you can see how this works. Now, you're going to see these are your channels, and you mentioned about locked channels. If you created a private channel, you could do posts and share your template links for your digital store. They don't have to go check out or do anything. If they've already purchased, do a locked channel. When you go into settings, you can come over here to members and manually add people or do this based on a workflow. Here's a great example. If they made the purchase, you can set it to unlock a channel. Let's go to automations in this workflow. Let's just do this. If the payment received was, let's go to our global product, the Canva download, payment status is success. We have this trigger. If this, then guess what? They made their payment. You can send them an email or you come down here to the community. So we would say private channel access and go to that channel that we wanted. So that's your group, that's your client portal, and then we would select the private. So now they made the payment. You've granted them access. You might want to put something here for a minute, wait a minute, add a tag, give it time to go through. And then that would be your digital process. Again, if you did an offer and they made a payment, then you could say under membership, you could do the same thing for the membership. And I know this may just be like a little bit confusing. You can grant access to the course once they've made their payment. So you can grant them access to your private channel. They made a payment for your Canva, give them access to the private. Or they made a payment to your Canva digital download, send them an email with your link. If they made a payment from the funnel site, then you would grant them the course offer and then grant them access to your private channel. You can grant access to the actual client portal, to your community, and then you can grant them access to the private channel. So that kind of gets you in this community portal. Now, community portal, this is the last part, and this is the most confusing part to a lot of people. And again, I know GoHighLevel is working on this. It's going to be amazing. I personally love using funnels and on client portal. So we've got learning and courses. This is your learning tab and your course library. This is where you can add a course. Now, if I click add a course, I'm going to select a course and I have options. This can go to all members. It can be a level unlock. So when they hit a certain level, they get to that. This is a course accessible on purchasing. It could be a time lock or available to a specific private channel. If I wanted to go into my learning tab and do a buy now, this would be where I would select the specific course they could buy, put the price in. You can do trial, billing, whatever. This is where you would put that information in, and then it will actually create a course with a dollar amount here. So you would see learning, and then you would see the dollar amount there. Just like in the demo here, you would see this with your dollar amount. So all your members logging in would see this course. That's the learning area. Now, up here to the 3 dots, when I go to the 9 dots, you're going to see what's called courses. This pulls from our library. You would see these are the 2 offers that I've been granted access to, so I'm seeing the 2 courses. So what we do is let everybody know if you paid for a course attached to their name, it shows up under the 9 dots in courses. For us in the community, if we put in a course here in the learning tab, this is a free course. We want all of our members to have access to this. Now, like I said, if you wanted to add a course that was a buy course, I don't think it's going to let me do this here. Let's just add it here. I think it'll let me add it. Yeah, see, it keeps wanting a payment integration. And I don't want to notify everybody else that there's a course in our community. I don't want to tell everybody, hey, here's a course for you, pay for it, because ours is free. But if you were to add a course here, then what would happen is it actually creates a product. You would see now a learning product, which is something they're working on. You would see Canva download product, then you would see a membership product, and then you would see like the learning product. So the best place to start is to set up your product here in the products, the offers. It will automatically create a product here for you, and then you'll be good to go to utilize that product however you want. In your community, you can add those products, but keep in mind, it's not going to be the same product as your offer. This is a new product. This is adding the course here as a learning new product. So it will create a new product. Let's go to products. So if this product, and this is where it gets confusing, a lot of times what I'll do, just to make it very clear, is when I go into my memberships and my offers, I will label this one offer. I will come in here and let me edit this, and I will say hair tip offer. And that tells me this is an offer. It's related to my library. Hair tip offer. And that tells me this price right here came in from my offers. If I go and create one in my community, you're going to see memberships and a little different tag here. And you're going to see hair tip in there twice. So that's why I don't necessarily use the community learning area for paying courses, but you can. I think it's a great way for people to go in and see if you just have a few courses. Like if you've just got 4 or 5 courses, maybe a program, you might want to put that in here. If you've got an entire library of courses, I would recommend using the offers and keeping them in here. So just remember, once you set up your community portal, you have the learning tab option here to add a course, which creates a new product for your learning client portal, or you would use your offers, which would show up here in the courses. If it's been granted access to the person logged into the community, they'll be able to get it. So you see offers, membership courses related to the contact and the library. Let's say course library takes you to membership offers, the community or the client portal. Those were the 9 dots that takes them to their library. Again, learning tab or course library. If you start with your offer here, then you've got your course product done. And if you want to create a specific product for your community, for your paid, or if you have a program specifically, you can do that. You still have to set up your offer to be able to grant the contact access, but you can create a funnel page and add a form and add the product. We added the product to the page, and that allowed us to do a complete workflow and be in control of the whole system. If you just want to manage it in your community, I strongly recommend utilizing courses for paid. If you're wanting a free community, you want people to come into your community, give them those free courses here. Let them feel like this is their great place to be. And if you want to have an upsell, remember, you would have to add that. You would select the course. It will show up as a new payment. You would need to set up a workflow. If they purchase the course, you would have them access the private channel. If they purchased a digital product, you would want it to come through the e-commerce store or a funnel site, because in here, there's no way to put just a digital media package. You have to connect it to a course in your course library, which has to be connected to an offer. Once that offer's made, it shows up. A lot of people say, I don't see my course. If you don't see it, you didn't make an offer. Offers need to be created, start there, and then work from there. For digital products, depending on how many you have, if you have more than 10, create an e-commerce store. The download is really cool because you can download, attach it, make a workflow, done. If you've got just a few digital downloads, or you just want them to come into your community, or they buy a membership somewhere on a site or a funnel page, have them buy it and set up your workflow to grant access to the course or private channel where you house those links. It's really cool because if you had a private channel, you could just come in here and just put, Canva template link, label it real estate or whatever. You would put your link here. You could even add the link attachment, a little video or an image of it, and publish the post. And the post would just be shown here. Canva link, template. Let's just add a fun image. I'm sure I have something I can upload. Let's just say this was your image that went with it. We'll go ahead and publish the post. The only people that see it are in the private channel if they have access to that private channel. If they don't have access, then this is how it would show up. So they would just kind of be in list view here, unless you took that product and you pinned it. The other thing I would do if you're going to do a channel with digital products is lock the channel so that no one can post on it. And I believe that's right here in the settings. Yep. Restrict members from posting. So you can turn this on right here. So it's a read-only channel. So they can't post anything in here. This would just be where they would go to get their digital downloads. I really recommend more following the workflow, creating a site or a funnel, a subdomain for your products, or creating an e-store, using the workflow to grant them access to your channel and bringing them in. I'm hoping that helps with answering the questions on digital downloads with e-commerce and courses, the way the structure works inside of GoHighLevel as of right now, 2020. If you are watching this video, I can pretty much guarantee there's going to be a lot of changes, especially after October. So when they do, I'll definitely put out a new video on how hopefully they're going to make this all a lot easier for us. There's some positives. The pros on this is that you can customize this however you like. The cons is the confusion. A lot of people get confused by what's the offer, what's the community, what's my portal, what's my funnels, what's my products, what's my sites, what's my digital downloads, physical products, and that's really how that works. E-commerce store for physical, digital downloads, 10 or more. I recommend e-commerce. Setting up workflows and triggers for products purchased. That's a great way to manage those digital downloads. Again, creating a e-commerce store or digital download, create a funnel with a site, adding the product page, which would be, this would be your digital offer page, your own designed page. For courses, you have to create an offer that grants contact access, creates the course and makes it available to share within your library. You can create a membership offer designed page. Again, I showed you what that looked like. I recommend doing a site and funnel, but you can do that really quick by putting a header, a video, and a quick description. The community and client portal is your learning, your course library in the 9 dots, which guess what? Attaches to the offer that attaches to the contact. And then the learning tab is where you can add additional courses. Again, you have to have an offer open in order for that course to show up. There's got to be an offer there, but you can add your own pricing and put that inside your learning library for people to purchase. That creates a new product, in which case you would want to create a workflow. And if you lock a channel, they can't see courses in the channel. What is cool, and I have not played with this, is the private channel course availability. If they're in this channel and you select the private channel, they can see the courses with them. And if I were to add that and I was in this private channel, I would see the course here. In the private channel, when I click the learning tab, it says private channel based. This would show me that channel here. That is a really cool feature. Just remember, reorganizing these, you can move the cards. If you want to move this card, so the first one is here that's free, then the paid. But as you start to get a whole bunch of courses, this is going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be like scrolling for days. Eventually, they're going to want to make this more than 3 columns. Right now, it looks great, but I have a feeling more of us are wanting to do more courses. This is why we leave our learning. We've got 50 quick fast track free courses coming. But in the library, when you go to our course library, it's like pages and pages of courses. That's really all up to you and how you want to manage it. I feel like I've covered everything. I hope this helps you for those of you who are digital creators with getting in digital products or setting up an online store. I would definitely recommend watching the e-commerce video. You want to set up your client portal or community, you definitely need to take the client portal course. I also recommend taking the membership course and communities. And then, of course, sites and funnels to learn how to set up your funnel the right way. Automation and workflows, that's going to be a separate course for a separate feature. So if I were to give you a rundown real quick, just remember when you go into memberships, you'll first create your products, then you'll create your offer related to that membership product. Those products will show up both in your library and in your payments. If you create a membership, when you create your client portal, that's going to help you set up your client portal. You can also get to that from memberships to set up your client portal, and then your community to set up your groups and create your own group and set up your community. Lots of cool things in there. So that should cover it for membership courses, digital downloads, and hopefully get you some kind of structure on how this works. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be sure to share an update on this video as soon as we get one.